Ice Cream Conversation. Ice Cream Conversation. Let's go. Forever on the grind all day, every day. Ice Cream Convos, always real, they never play. Download the podcast, listen on any day. Why didn't I do this sooner? Only thing you ever say. Exaviera, best host of all time. All of the faithful listeners will say they never lie. Check every story they run, like me with the rhymes. When other shows report anything, it should be a crime. Entertainment news, yeah, I gotta get mine from ICC, and you should be inclined to do the same if you got half a mind. I do co-sign this lady to shine like Frankenstein. Cut it today design. IceCreamConvos.com. Tune in, yeah. This influence by IceCreamConvos.com.
Hey ICC friends, I am super excited because I have not only an incredible actor, but a dear friend joining us today. And it is my pleasure to have him here. And I'm sure it will be your pleasure as well. Welcome to the Ice Cream Convos Podcast, Mr. Sean Baker.
Hey.
Give it up. Sean, this has been such a long time in the making. It's so funny. Because I think a lot of people don't really know how far you and I go back. And I was trying to count this morning and I was like, how long have I known Sean? Has it been almost 10 years?
Has it been? I think so.
If it's not 10 years, it's close to it because I met you when you were doing the stage play with Mary. What's Mary's? Do you remember Mary's name? What's the Mary's name?
Morrison?
I think so. Yes.
Single
husbands.
Yes.
And that is when we met.
Yep. That's crazy. That's almost 10 years. Just about, I think.
Almost 10 years. And look at you now from then till now. Listen, no one cannot tell me God can't work miracles in a decade.
God be doing things I don't even know sometimes. I'm just like, you know what, you got it.
You got it.
Many times when we die, I'm like, you got it, God, you got it.
Yeah. Look, I'm just gonna chill in the passenger seat. I'm gonna let you drive. You could take the wheel.
I'm just chill.
Just chilling.
Just chilling. You want some water? You want to open your snacks for you? Like I'm
You hot? You want me to adjust the AC?
I'm trying to listen. That's it. Because a lot of times we just don't know. It's that complete faith walk. So that's real.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm super excited to talk to you today because you have so many fantastic things going on in your career. And I just wanted to make sure that my ICC friends who may not be familiar with you, or they may be like, I know that dude. I see him. That's where you are, right, Sean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I remember him. So I want to formally introduce you to the ICC friends because, I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg. You have so many more amazing things to come. So let's start with I'm trying to figure out where I wanted to start. So 2 places I was thinking to start with you, Sean.
Okay.
Like at the very beginning, like when you first entered the world, and
like out the womb,
they're like you're. I'm here. What's good? Where are the snacks?
Where are the snacks?
I was like, should we start there? Or should we start with his latest project? So I want to leave that up to you because I do want to get history on you as well leading up. But so I think it is a great time to start. Where are you originally from, Sean?
So originally I'm from New York. The Bronx, Boogie Down Bronx. Those that know about the 5 boroughs over there. I'm originally from there. I have my background in the Caribbean, my Caribbean descent. My bloodline is from, my mom is from St. Kitts, pop's from Guyana.
Yes. Okay.
So I've got that,
Yes. So you had that royal king in the blood. I feel you. I see what you're trying to say. Absolutely. It's
there. every bit of it, every drop. And I just, grew up in New York, and it was an experience of a lifetime. It trained me. It it raised me to where I am today, and how I move today, and how I see life in the world. And just kind of put that, for me anyway, I can speak for myself, just put that, that tough skin on me to to endure.
That concrete jungle. It's the concrete jungle.
Look here. Okay, that concrete jungle is real.
Oh, yes, it is. So, Sean, a funny story. So when I decided to try to pursue something, I told my grandmother, I was raised by my great grandmother, and I told her, I said, I either want to go to New York or I want to go to Georgia. She said, baby, go to Georgia. New York will eat you alive. You ain't built for New York. Just going down to Georgia. You ain't built for New York. I was like, oh, okay. So that is how I ended up in Atlanta. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. She said,
from you ended up in Atlanta.
South Jersey.
You in South Jersey? Come on, you was across the bridge. What you mean?
But listen, Sean, North Jersey and South Jersey are two different things.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Because I had cows and grass where I was at.
It is. But you were still a part. You were still a part of it. Like, I mean, I know, because if it wasn't if you wasn't, Trenton and
exactly, I was still up top.
Yeah,
in the grand scheme of things, I was still up top, but I wasn't at the tippy top. Because when I went to, one of my girlfriends and I went to Orange to try to link up with some dudes, and we stopped somebody at night for directions, and they pulled a gun on us. I was like, yeah, we're not in Kansas anymore. We might need to head back down to the cows and corn.
You stopped somebody at night for directions. That doesn't even happen anymore, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, and we crept up on him too and rolled down the window slow, like, excuse me. And he was like, excuse me. I was like,
yeah.
So yeah. It was interesting. So yes,
yeah, but if you once you survived the great experience, it's of course it's more than just the craziness that we grew up around, or was able to make it through, but culturally it was also very, very different as well. It was very eye-opening.
Yeah.
At that point in time, especially the part of the Bronx where I grew up in, Northeast Bronx, where I grew up with everyone from Caribbean to African to Dominican, Puerto Rican. So it had Albanian, Irish. Everybody was up in there. So you had to mix, literally.
Yeah, it was a true melting pot.
Yes.
And a true melting pot. So as a child, as kids, we always have an idea of what we want to be when we grow up. Do you recall as a child what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Interesting that you asked that, because I remember I was watching something the other day, and it kind of triggered me back to thinking about that very thought. Yeah. And my father, he was a policeman over in the islands in St. Kitts, as a matter of fact. But he went from Guyana to St. Kitts. Yeah. He was a policeman over there for a while, and a detective, and a whole lot of stuff I didn't know about him until after he passed. I was like, "This is Batman," but we had a lot of things going on. I'm at the funeral. What? he solved what case? This is not. Wasn't Bruce Wayne, because he didn't have it like that. But still,
right.
But I remember initially, because I used to see my father's picture in uniform. I was like, well, I want to be a policeman. I want to be a cop. I want to protect people. And I felt like that was part of it was in me. I watched him do it. He, the way he was, very protective and very, very caring, very, very observant. And I was like, I want to be that. But then but the interesting thing was, my father, being from the islands, he wasn't like an American football fan, right? He was cricket. And his thing was, interestingly enough, wrestling. Huge wrestling.
What's good?
Huge wrestling. Listen, him watching wrestling was like dudes today, how dudes and dudes are just anybody today that is a big football NBA fan. Him watching wrestling was like that.
Listen, my eyes is I'm like, yo, somebody else felt my spirit.
Listen, I'm trying to tell you.
I had it bad.
WrestleMania,
what?
Talking about the days
SmackDown, WWE.
I'm talking about the days of Jimmy Superfly
Snooker, what? Junkyard Dog, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Jake the Snake Roberts, Andre the Giant.
We from that era. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got a little emotional.
No, you good. That was in my household. So that's what I experienced with him. So interestingly enough, I was saying that's something that he was involved in. I played sports, I did football, I did martial arts, karate, but his thing, but the interesting thing was he loved to watch film. He loved classic movies and film, and he was just so knowledgeable of like all of these actors and actresses that won these awards, and they were known for this performance. And I was like, why? Because it was he had a wonderful, beautiful, eclectic mind, more so than I think he even realized. So he inadvertently introduced me to the art, the world of the arts in terms of film. And I used to watch, I think I said this in an interview recently. I was like, I would sit there and watch movies, in particular, movies with Sidney Poitier, with him. I got to know like these actors, Marlon Brandos, and they're like, I didn't know who these people were, but I just watched, and it was very interesting. Cicely Tyson. I'm just like, but I'm watching these movies and I didn't really understand the impact that it would have later on down the road where it was leading me. But I was completely enamored with the art of it all, like the beauty of telling stories with people that look like us. So that quickly changed to, I think I want to do some acting. I think I want to be like that.
Oh, that is such a beautiful story. It's just so beautiful because, like you mentioned, a lot of times, even in who we are as a human being, there are elements that are working behind the scenes that we don't even realize, or things that are impacting us. That's why, they always say, be mindful what you allow children to see and do, because, it's affecting them whether or not you realize it. And you watching these classic films with your dad inadvertently instilled this love of the art and film. Oh, that is, I ain't gonna cry because I'm a thug.
No.
I ain't gonna do it. I'm a thug.
Hey, look. I ain't gonna say I'm a thug, but I definitely had to let some tears fall every once in a while. But you know what I'm saying? Still, you have to be king about it. But I allow the tears to fall when they need.
Yes.
But here's the irony: he did not want me to go into acting and music, and say that was not it. My father was a big music head too, but he DJed and everything. He played everything. I got a love for music from him, but he did not want me to go into that world. It was not as realistic, as it was, as opposed to, hey, listen, get your education, get your diploma, go work, get a great job, retire. That was the American dream, right?
Yep.
So ironically enough, that was that. So, but he still planted that seed, I think, unknowingly, and then my mother loved, and then the flip side is my mother loved theater. So my mother would take me to Broadway plays, and her friends would, introduce her to, these plays. That my first play was Serafina. And as a kid, I watched that and I was like, what is this? And I was, Broadway.
Wow.
This is crazy.
See, I knew it. I knew I was smart to ask you about your childhood. I knew it. I absolutely knew it. So at what point, or was there a specific opportunity, or what point that you say to yourself, I know you watch the films with your dad and it kind of sunk into your subconscious, but at what point did you say, hey, I want to be an actor and I'm going to go after this. Like, I'm going to put full effort. I'm going full throttle. I want to be an actor.
It was in high school. I wanted, my desire, on this, speaking on the same theme here, my desire was to go to a performing arts school. Specifically, I remember one of them was LaGuardia. It was Tisch. I didn't get a chance to go, but just a couple more college, but LaGuardia I wanted to go. And again, Pops wasn't really trying to have that. Ironically, as I was playing football, at the school I went to, was Cardinal Spellman High School in the Bronx. They had a choir open up, a gospel choir open up, and then they had a performing arts theater group that started to kind of bubble. And I slowly kind of edged out of the football. You were like, what you doing? I'm like, yeah, this is cool, but I want to do that. And it was just pulling me. So I went, I started doing, I was doing gospel choir, and I started doing, at one point I was still doing football, but then I was doing gospel choir, football, and I started getting to theater. And just the way that they were set up, I could not do all three, but I had to drop football and just, go to where my heart was. And I remember doing this play, particularly towards, I did a series of Broadway plays. I had two teachers who were also acting coaches, who were also very versed in Broadway theater, and we did all Broadway plays in high school. So I went from doing Bells Are Ringing, Pippin, where I played Ben Green's famous role, and then I played the Artful Dodger in Oliver, and then I played Riff in West Side Story. And I had two teachers that interchanged. By the time I did West Side Story, I was working with a gentleman named Mr. Phil. He was our geography teacher. And what he did was he made me audition for the role of Riff from the Jets. Now, mind you, hear what I'm saying. West Side Story was about who? Whites
and Latinos.
Latino, right?
Yeah.
We wasn't in that.
No, we weren't.
We were not in that.
So it's like, is he Afro-Latino?
Yeah, it was Afro-Latino, and that wasn't even a discussion then. It was just
right.
But I think about it, and I auditioned for it, and I went to him. I said, Mr. Philp, I said, I said, I'm Black, right? And he looks at me, and he goes, "Are you?" He was one of those teachers, like super cool. But he was like, "Listen," but I had a concern. I said, I don't know if I can, I love the role. I've been working on theater stuff, but I don't know if I can do this. This doesn't make sense to me. And he said, let me tell you something. He said, if you just do the role right, tell the truth, and just be yourself in the room, let it be natural, they're gonna forget all. They're not even gonna worry about you being Black. Nobody's gonna think about it. They're just gonna look at your performance. And he was right. And it was at that moment I said, this is something that I can do.
Yes.
It was at that moment that particular play. I mean, I had been working on stuff, but it was for some reason when that West Side Story and being able to overcome that thought process, what I was an obstacle. I was like, wow. And
that was a gem.
It was a gem. So Mr. Philp, always bring that up and always recognize him, and I always acknowledge him with that, because that's a part of my, part of my journey.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've wiggled out of football. Now we are acting. We're doing Broadway plays in high school. And from there, how did you go about landing your very first role? What was your very first role that you landed outside of school, whether it was a play or independent film? Like, what was that first role that you thought to yourself when you got home? Bro, I'm an actor. Like, it's official. Like, I'm officially official.
I'm gonna say that it was another theater production.
Okay.
It wasn't TV and film just yet.
Okay.
But what made me, because I think you're not defined, but I don't think you're defined by being an actor once you've, and people can,
Absolutely.
have different opinions on it. But TV and film, theater is different. But I remember watching a segment just recently and doing Denzel's, express that, just either way, just tell the truth as an actor, period. Whether it's TV, film, or theater. But I remember I did Raisin in the Sun.
Wow.
I did a Raisin in the Sun. Rain Hansberry's a Raisin in the Sun. I played Walter Lee. And I remember going so deep with that role. I was with a director here. Her name is, she's now Minister Scott in Atlanta. And I remember auditioning for that play. I did a lot of other stage plays that were kind of original, here comes the husband with the preacher, that kind of
thing.
A lot of those other plays that were happening. I also worked on a play with Candy Burris and Todd Tucker, where I did A Mother's Love, and I remember working on that play with a lot of great talent at the time. I was I'm surrounded by really, really at the time big, great talent. I was like, this is crazy. And I remember still working at my 9 to 5, still do my corporate. And I said, this is enlightening. This is inspiring. But when I did Raisin in the Sun, I felt something different. I felt a truth that I don't think I've ever felt before within working in this field, and I connected with the character so much. I connected in a lot of different ways, the story so much. Lorraine Hansberry was a writer before her time, and I got so engulfed in telling the story and wanting to be truthful in telling the story that I walked away from that. Like you said, I got home and I said, I'm an actor. I'm looking at this 100+ page, script, and I'm like, but I'm going so deep into understanding the different realms of human beings and the trials and tribulations and things we go through as human beings, but also as Black men and Black women, Black children, our stories that need to be told. It was so much of it that I was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm called to tell the different stories that we have, especially within our culture. And that was it. That was for me, that was the start of really opening my mind up, even being more broad to and being more aware of what the calling and the purpose is, especially with my talent and this career.
You said something that I really appreciate you sang, and I don't even think that, I think it just was so natural for you that you didn't even think about it. And you said that, excuse me, TV and film, some people think, oh, well, you're not an actor until you land a huge big role, or you're in a television show or series, or you're in this blockbuster film, and I'm happy that you mentioned that and said that, because a lot of times people get so hung up in what other people determine to be success, or other people determine for you to be, whatever it is that you want to achieve in life. And I'm so glad that you said that, because, a lot of people don't fully understand what it is to, just live in your passion and pursue your dreams. Yeah. Everyone wants to define what your success is, but success is what you determine it to be for yourself.
Yes.
So for you, a raisin and a son, like that in itself, as soon as you said a raisin and a son, I was like, yeah, he's an actor. There are certain things that are just monumental in our lives, and moments that are monumental in our lives. And I know for you, that was a monumental moment.
Oh, yes.
And so I'm just so proud of you. I can go on and on all day about you, but
thank you.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. So that is when you knew for a fact, boom, I'm an actor. I'm here. Now, I know that acting it's not easy. It's not easy. Acting acting requires you. Yes. And people think, oh, you learn the lines, you act them out, boom, boom, boom. No, like you mentioned as well when you were talking, because I'm listening, how you said, like, I went so deep into that role. And you hear so many times of actors getting so engulfed in a role that once they are done with that particular role, they're done with that particular project. They have to like literally go and emotionally and mentally detox themselves out of the roles.
Yes.
Have you had a role outside of Raisin in the Sun? Because I know you already mentioned that you got into that role, but was there another role that you literally had to like take some time to kind of like detox out of the character?
Yes. Yes, very good, great question.
Thank you.
Outside of Raisin, which I had to absolutely detox, there was so much involved. There was a film that I did in LA. It's called Penny for Your Thought. It's a short film, and it was centered around domestic violence, and it told the story of a young girl who was with her mother, had a stepfather. The father was still involved, but the issue is that the stepfather at the time wanted to be in complete control and have complete, say over the family and the complete respect and love, and like all of that, all of what I guess what goes into a blended family, if you will. And I had to play the role of the stepfather that, had to go through the traumatic experience of, having these altercations with not just the wife, but also the child. And, that was traumatizing in and of itself, because, never been involved in a situation, that magnitude of, I've read about it. I know of it. I know, people close to it and have experienced it, but, it's always horrible, terrible to hear about those type of situations, but to have tapped into that type of a personality, that sort of persona, that character, that was something. And so, it was, but I loved being to be able to tell the story, because people sometimes need to see, especially again, and I speak again for everybody, but also within our culture, to see like what this looks like and how unfortunate it is. And so after shooting that, of course, we wrapped and everybody loved the performances and it came out great. But yeah, I had to step away. I had to like go back and get centered again, because I had I had to go somewhere where I normally wouldn't go. And,
right.
And it was a lot. So in order to do that, sometimes you take that time and recenter. There's lots of ways to do it. Actors as well as just people in general. Just I got to find ways to sit back, detox, and get your mental back right, because that's very, very important, especially in this field where we are known as I think Algino said it. We are emotional athletes. So we are emotional athletes. So we have to we very much have to guard our spirit, our emotions, our gates in terms of what we take in, what we put out, and replenish and reset and recharge, all of that. Yeah, but that was one role in particular. Mm-hmm.
Well, since we're here already talking about, the recentering, how do you, what are some of the things that you do just for your self-care, emotionally, mentally, physically, just as a Black man living in these United States of America in the year of our Lord 2022,
The
year of our Lord, what are some of the things that you do just to care for yourself and take care of yourself emotionally, physically, mentally? What are some of the things that you do?
Yeah, that's again, great question, and I pray that there's more conversations about this, because it's needed, very much, especially in these times. For me, let me just say transparently, I'm still learning a lot of different ways to deal, to have that, to get recentered, to because it's I think life as it's ever changing, ever evolving. Like what may have worked, last year or the year before, that might not work, because the stakes may have been raised.
What worked yesterday? Okay, yesterday's price.
Okay. Yes, it's not today. Yesterday's trauma is not today's trauma.
Today's trauma, yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's so real, though. It's so real. Honestly, there's certain things that I think that are still like the fundamentals. I think you have to, whatever, wherever your spiritual connection or religion lies, I think your faith is whatever your faith base is. I think that's key. That's paramount. That's probably one of the most essential things that you will need, to kind of get back to where you are and to keep yourself grounded. For me personally, it has to do with a lot with me being spiritually grounded, connected. I have a great tribe, I'm going to say, that I have around me that I can lean on. So whether it's friends, family, mentors, that I'm able to kind of talk, we have to be able to talk, right. And I'm going to say specifically as human beings, as a human race, period. But I'm going to say specifically towards our people, and because it's been so taboo in terms of mental health, and being able to talk and get therapy. I think therapy is another. I think it's of the utmost importance in terms of being able to understand that there's nothing wrong with being able to talk to a therapist, being able to talk to a psychologist, because there are things that we've experienced in life, that have, charged us to, want to figure things out and find out what's wrong. So that having a good centered tribe around you, your family, your friends, do things that make you happy outside of the work. Yes. I love to be studying scripts and be on set and shooting, filming back to back. I love it because this is what I love to do. However, I can't make that the center of my happiness. And I continue to learn. I got to find out the things that make me happy outside that. So yes, I will exercise, physically. I will make sure that I get out, not to bulk up, or not particularly for a role, right. But do things that just make me feel good. Go for, literally go for the walks, do the things that make you happy. Be around the people that make you happy. Your environment is very important. If you're around people that are like, if they're not able to bring you up when you need it, or they're able to pour into you, but you find yourself constantly pouring out, you got to change that. So these are things that I pay attention to that, again, help me to kind of recenter myself. Again, I talk about therapy. I talk about the people that you're around. And again, I think, do the things that relax you, again, treat yourself to the spa and go and relax and put on some music, throw on that, what I'm saying,
I'm here with you. Yes.
And just get centered, because you need that time for yourself. You need time, and especially taking time for yourself. I think that's one of the most important things. My mother used to tell me all the time, Sean, make sure you take time for yourself. And I never, I mean, she would drill that into me for years. And from the time I was young, and I didn't fully understand it until I got a little bit older. And I was like,
yes.
Because we were just so caught up in life, like you're constantly on the move, on the go. You are a wife, a mother, you know what it is. Like your life is constantly moving, but that moment, that time for yourself is very important. Yeah,
it is. It is. It allows you to recharge, and when you were talking, I was just thinking about all the different things, like, because I work in a space of metaphors, right? So when you were saying, like, it's important to have a good environment around you. So I'm thinking to myself, like, would you go sit in a trash can? No, because that would make you trash. Don't hang around trash people.
Don't hang around trash people.
You gotta simplify it. You gotta simplify it. Sometimes a lot of us, sometimes unfortunately, they say you can't choose your family, but you could pick your friends. Yeah. But, sometimes we end up in these toxic circles or have toxic people in our lives, and we love them and we're trying to hang on, we're trying to fix them. And so, sometimes it is very important to surround yourself with people who uplift you. I think the other day I wrote on social media, I was like, the older I get, the more I realize how important it is to have a sturdy tribe. Like, you can have a tribe, but like a sturdy tribe, because when you get ready to lean, you need someone to lean on, and your tribe weak, you're going to fall right out the whole,
you're all falling down together. Like, wait,
y'all falling down together. You have to have a sturdy tribe, Yes. And then, when you were talking about taking time for yourself, I was thinking to myself, if you leave a light bulb plugged in and turned on, it will get so hot. Right. Eventually, you got to turn the light off and allow the bulb to cool off. And that's, I try to give people metaphors, and
come on,
but I'm a visual person. I'm a visual person. So when you're talking, I'm seeing all these different things, But no, you're absolutely right. And one of the things that I love about you is that you are transparent in who you are. And as far as like just making sure that you do take care of yourself, you even share, positive messages with your fans and with your audience across social media. Yeah. And I love that as well, because not only are you doing the internal work, you're sharing and pouring into others when they don't even, sometimes people don't even realize that someone's trying to pour a blessing into them. So sometimes that's the easiest way to get it in. I'm like, take this blessing, shut up, don't say nothing. Take this blessing. Take the blessing, shut up, don't say nothing. Just shut up and eat your blessing. Shut up. I'm sorry, Sean. You know how I am, Sean. You already.
Listen. You already know. I will literally go into, if I need a laugh, or I need to just I need to chuckle, I need to step out of whatever it is I'm in my head with.
Yes.
I'll go to your page. Your page is one of the things because I know between what you post, your comments, your caps, and then your fans are and your audience always on it. Always.
I tell you. Hilarious. We are an interesting bunch, I will say. My ICC friends, we are definitely an interesting bunch. So let's fast forward a little bit. Mm-hmm. Sean, you're out here, and you're not out here. You're out here. You putting in the work. You're making us proud. You're looking good while you're doing it. I mean, we're talking tails. We're talking FBI. We're talking all eyes on me. Like, gosh, how does a role typically come to you? Like, do you find out about it and you throw your hat in the ring? Do you get a phone call from an agent like, yo, Sean, I don't know, bro, this look like you right here. Mm-hmm. Typically, how do you become aware of a role in order to audition for it? And typically, or, you could share the different ways that roles, come to you.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to start off by saying all of the above.
Okay.
I know that's what I said. All of the above. Check all the boxes. Because even with the body of work that you mentioned, it happened in various ways. There was one instance where, like, with All Eyes on Me, I was on it was called Actors Access. All the actors kind of know what that is, and that database where you upload your profile, you look for auditions. And years ago, at the time, before I even had a representation, I always had a representation. God has always been my representation. I remember saying that to Raven Drum, and she was like, she kind of gave me that look like that. And,
yeah, because look, God had been like, oh, word, Sean.
Oh yeah. Me. Oh, so you ain't never had no representation?
So you did it by yourself, huh?
Oh, right. So it was all you, right?
Oh, that was all you. Oh, okay.
That was all you. No,
okay.
You already know. So I always had, but I never had those physical representations. So I did the legwork. I did the legwork. I pounded the pavement at the time. I'm looking online to see what's out there. Where can I submit, my resume and my headshot? So, so part of that was me just kind of, again, doing the work, which a lot of times I always stress to people that when they ask me, I want to be an actor. I want to get into this acting thing. I'm like, well, go to class and do the work, because nobody's giving you a handout. Nobody's, rarely is it that was, when people see you doing the work, I think that's when there are those that are watching that will reach out.
Yes.
So one of the ways is absolutely, pounding the pavement. I'm looking online to see what's there and submitting and putting myself out there, and going to at one point where they had casting calls and stuff. So I went through all of that. Fast forward to when I have representation, physical representation here, and I get an agent, manager, and so what they will typically do is look out for roles that would seemingly fit me, depending on, my character archetype or, what I've done already, what they've seen me do, what they feel that I'm talented enough to probably try and be challenged enough to attempt to audition for. It depends. Also the other way, another way is, and I like how, I think was it Kiki Palmer that recently, she went ahead and it was her shooting her shot. Shooting her shot.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say she shot her shot.
Be like she and then you end up cussing like she shitted her shot. I mean,
her shot. Like I'm over here trying to like.
She shot at her shot.
Like over here, like did she shoot her? She shot her shot past tense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I feel you. I'm here.
She put it out there, and she said she wanted to be, on Insecure with Issa Rae, and she. Again, of course, being what she is, she's, there was no question that she was going to be able to carry the role and do what she did. But I think there's but I said that because there's a lot of creative ways that I think actors can still put themselves out there. Like, again, full transparency. I'm recently thinking of, I think years ago when I first started, and I had somebody that was like pushing me out there, for acting. And it was like, oh, you have, you got this Idris vibe going on. You got this look, you should try to. And next thing I know, they put like not they, but my sister did it. They put like a face to face, like a side by side.
Yeah.
And I was, like a doppelganger type of thing. And so found a picture where I looked, exact, the same.
Yeah.
Kind of like,
you were serving the same vibe, the swag, same swag.
Maybe even an outfit, whatever. So did that. That was like years ago, and I put that out there. And and it's funny because recently I saw that the director, and the director, writer, composer for The Harder They Fall, said that there's possibly going to be a sequel. He kind of put that on Woody McClain's page, and Woody McClain and I are good friends, and solid dude. Woody McClain's out there doing power.
Yeah.
So,
Woody.
That's my guy. Yeah. That's my guy. And he had put it on his page that they may be doing like a prequel or something. I don't know how true that is, but I said, listen. Was it Rufus Buck? I think that was Idris's character.
Rufus Buck, absolutely.
Rufus Buck needed a kin that came around to avenge what's going on.
Lester Buck.
Okay, listen, Lester. You know what I'm saying?
Leroy Buck.
Look, I'm here for it. So there's ways to be creative. Like, put yourself out there and follow different directors, casting. Now don't go crazy, and start just kind of
spamming people.
Spamming. But people will watch you and see what you're doing. I think the work is you find creative ways to to get the work. But ultimately you have to make sure the fundamentals is still like you have to study, you have to be in class, you have to know that you're ready, because when the opportunity comes, you want to be ready.
Absolutely.
You don't want to put yourself out there like I'm going to do this, and then it comes and you're not ready to take on that role or the project, or to even be fit, to stand with or amongst whoever. So preparation is key.
Now you mentioned like following directors and things of that nature. So I just want to go ahead and go down that lane with you for a little bit. Is there a director? It could be one or more that you have not worked with yet that you would love to work with?
Just one?
No. I said it could be one. Your top three.
Oh God, top three. Lord,
top five.
Oh well, okay. Well, I'll just
just off this. No, you know what, Sean? Better yet, because this is your craft, and I know 9 times out of 10 you probably know and understand these directors like way more deep than I could ever. I probably scratched the surface, right? So I want you to answer just based off of the first people who pop into your head, because I know you probably like this particular director for this reason, this director for this reason. But who, like if I said, Sean, hurry up, come on, they outside right now. They said, who you want to work with? Come on, we gotta go. Come on, they outside in the car. We gotta go. Who would you say?
Well, I'm just gonna throw them out there. So Spike Lee, Malcolm D. Lee, Gina Prince Bythewood, Scorsese, Denzel.
That's a nice crew right there. That's a nice little tribe, yeah. Sean.
Yeah,
that's a nice tribe right there.
Look at it. Now my mind's going. Geez. Now my brain is like doing all kind of like don't you remember so and so, but it's quite a few.
Quite a few. You gave some really amazing examples.
The list, because the list is so long. Because and because of it's more so because of the body of work that I've watched them do.
Absolutely.
Create. I'm like, I would love to be a part of being able to tell a story. Ava, I can't forget Ava. I mean, the list, like I said, the list goes on.
Yes. Now, Sean, I know a little while ago I asked, how do you go about finding out about roles and applying to, throwing your hat in the ring for roles? I always hear about, especially with people of color, Black actors, always talk about how challenging it is to get these roles in Hollywood. And I remember one time, I think it was Lance Gross or someone else, they said like when they show up to auditions, it's always the same crew. Like, y'all here for this one too? Oh, right. We're here for this one too. Like, oh, next time you bring snacks,
right.
And it's like, it seems like there's just a crew, who typically get these opportunities, or they're the ones who always get the call. Have you faced any challenges as far as, getting roles and casting in this Hollywood that is not always so embracing of people of color? If not, what challenges do you face as an actor, if any?
Ooh, you with the deep layers.
I do this, Sean. I do this. I do this.
Yes, you do. I have faced challenges. I think the challenges have stemmed from, the more you do, the more you've accomplished. The more work you put out there and you get out there, you'll start going for roles that are, that will be, also given. Not I'm saying given to, but they'll audition for roles with, your peers. I'm going to say the ones that eventually at some point you start to audition alongside, people that you at one point looked up to. You're like, oh man, I can't wait to get to that point. Next thing you know, like you said, you're in a room and you're like, oh, what's up?
Oh,
hey, Brad. Oh, what's up, Brad?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over here.
Right.
I remember going and when we had in person prior to COVID and all this stuff. We had our in person auditions, and it at some point it was not uncommon to walk, especially in the Atlanta sector. It wasn't uncommon to walk in and out, bump into Brad James or Kimball, a lot of other actors that just they're popping, even if they came from New York or from wherever or from LA, but they're popping in and out. And you walk in the waiting area and you're like, oh, like you said, what's up? One, it's a challenge, but I also find it to be rewarding, and it's a sign that I am moving in the right direction and I'm moving up.
Yes.
So I take it oftentimes as best I can with the glass half full. I try to look at the opposite side because I don't allow that to get in my head.
That's right.
If they're here and I'm here, then it's a good reason. It's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good
absolutely.
problem. And so, yes, the challenges are, of course, we start to, then depending on the roles that are created, we start kind of looking, going after the same roles, whether it be, the husband, the lover, the boyfriend, the gangster, the so it just depends on what story is being told,
right.
and what the structure of the production is. So the challenge is, like I said, it's more. I think it's more so it's that I call it a God wink, right? And God's letting you know, all right, you see the circle that you're in, you see who you're auditioning, up against. You're in the right realm. It just becomes harder, and I think the challenge every day is just to make sure that you do your best. Because you don't know at one point or another who's getting picked for what. Sometimes the casting, the directors, things change on the fly, on a whim. They think one way, but if they see an audition, they see a person, they look at the performance and go, you know what? I never thought about it. I never looked at the actor doing a performance that way. I like this, and they may take a chance on you. You just don't know. I think the best thing to do is to focus on your work.
Right.
The challenges don't stop, because the higher you go, then you're getting up there. Next thing you know, you're crossing the Michael B. Jordans and the and the DiCaprios and the Don Cheadles of the world, and you're like, what do you do? And what you do is you stay grounded, and you say, I'm here because I'm supposed to be here. And I never
absolutely.
And you earn your stripes. You do the work. And do good work. I think that's my main focus always. The challenge, you're going to meet challenges throughout this being in this career. And I feel like I hope I didn't get too far away from your question. But
no, listen, you are pouring into my spirit so much, and I'm just like, I hope I'm not like getting closer and closer to the screen. Like, yes, because you are literally. It's so funny because you and I were both in the entertainment industry, but I'm behind. Like you're the talent, and I write about your talent, right?
Yeah.
But some of the things and experiences that you are saying, like walking into the room and being in the room with the people who I used to follow on social media and be like, dang. And now I'm sitting, alongside of them,
right.
And different opportunities, or just being in that room and you're speaking to my spirit because, like you said, it's constantly ever whatever it is that you do. Like we're speaking to the ICC friends now, whatever it is that you do,
yes.
You have to believe in yourself, because the devil will get the whispering in your ear.
Listen.
And once he's defeated your mind, everything else will follow. Right. So there have been times where I've been sitting in rooms like, what? Like, how did I even get in here? And the Lord is like, you put in the work. So every time you say you put in the work, I'm like, yes. And, I've literally had someone ask me, how they say have a seat at the table. I literally had a seat at the table, and someone asked me, why you get to sit down? That's how real it is. Someone literally,
I like that,
to my face, said, why you get to sit down? And I said, why aren't you sitting? Because, if the devil can't get you in the head, he'll send one of his minions down to come ask you a question. And I was just like, I was like, the audacity. And then I had to remember, I was like, and I think that was the moment it clicked for me, like, because the person who was questioning my seat, if it were up to me, I would have thought they would have been sitting before me.
Wow.
Right. So that's how, when you said, you go in, you see these these other talented actors, and you're like, ooh, like, okay, I already know that 9 times out of 10, they may give it to such and such, but that director is going to look at you and say, no, Sean has something that's different. Even if it's the way your eyes, when you do a dramatic part, or maybe the way your lip moves, or the way your beard sits all glistening from Jesus, like it, or your smile, it could be anything, but it's, they said you are like, you're you, and that's your superpower. And a lot of times, I'll have audience members come to me like, why you don't do this like such and such?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I did it just like them, you wouldn't need me.
Right. And you wouldn't stand out. You wouldn't matter the way that you do.
Embrace what makes you different, because a lot of times we think our differences are what makes us less than, but you have to embrace what makes you different, because that's what sets you apart.
Ooh, so come on with the word. Come on with the word. I just want to, two things I want to, while we're on that, because I think that's very important for,
sure,
especially for, our ICC family, friends, and supporters and tribe to listen to, like, again, just harping on that, be okay with being yourself. And that's your truth. I think your truth is always going to, honestly, go before you. It's going to guide you. It's going to uplift you. You're going to shine regardless of what. And again, quick. So 2 things real quick. So I remember when I first started doing that show, Swagger.
Yes. Let's talk Swagger. I got excited.
And I'll jump around a bit, but I remember when we first started shooting the pilot, and we started with, at the time we had Winston Duke. Playing head coach, and this Winston Duke coming off of Black Panther, and so kind of that walking in the room. Mind you, I'm hired, I'm booked, I'm here for but I remember walking in the room and going, "This is interesting," and you will have not, and nobody said anything to me. I mean, it was all love, but you get those, like you said, the thoughts in your head. Are you supposed to be here? Do you deserve to be here? Look where you are. What are you up against? And I was like, I'm here.
Yep.
Don't doubt. I'm not going to ever doubt my purpose.
That's right.
Why I'm in the room. I'm here because I'm supposed to be here, and I earned my spot here.
That's right.
I earned my place right here. So so when those doubts want to creep in, ladies and gentlemen, folks,
shut them down.
Boys and girls, shut it down. Shut it down. You count it down to where you have to know you got 5 seconds to get out of my head. Because that's it. You can't live in there, because you deserve to be where you're at. And by standing in that, your light shines regardless. Who you are shines regardless. And, again, so we and just even talking about that show was a whole experience. But there was so much that we experienced with, like, even after we lost Winston and we got O'Shea Jackson Jr.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
Yeah.
And love him. And as we pushed forward with this show, through all of the trials and tribulations, it was just a testimony as to why your purpose is there, why you're supposed to be there. So yes, I was supposed to be here. I earned my spot. I might not have been,
absolutely.
I may not be or you may not be. And I'm talking to everybody right now.
Yes.
The household name, but understand that do your work and you will be where you're supposed to be always. Amongst all of the people that I'm with on the show, from Mac Wiles to Tess Ferrer, to Benjanae, to there's so many. Khalil Harris plays my son. Like my brain's exploding right now, but there's so much. That was there. So I'm gonna jump to another example really quickly.
Okay.
When I did, because you mentioned Tales. The reason why I got, and I'm gonna tell you, and I always share this testimony. I got Tales. It wasn't even because it wasn't just straight auditioning. Brittany Horton at the time was working with casting at the time when they first started the show. Didn't even know what the show was. Brittany Horton reached out to me. She said, I think she's working on something. She said, I'm working on something, helping casting for a role I think you'd be great for. She also recommended me when I did my first Tyler Perry show. And so, but she was working on a different segment. And she said, and again, tribe, people that look out for you. That
the tribe.
For whatever reason, they just know, hey, I got you in mind. And this always happens. So she recommended me for a particular part. I went in audition, that didn't know what it was for. Did the audition, I left it. I get a call from Benny Boom. Benny Boom.
Benny Boom.
Yeah. Benny Boom, I just finished working with him on All Eyez on Me because he was the director on there. Okay.
So
Benny Boom hits me up and he's like, listen, I'm working on something. I need you to send me your headshot. Boom, boom, boom. Like, mind you, I was working on him with him on All Eyez on Me for at that point in time for like 6 to 8 months. You know what I'm saying? So we had known, he's watched me, mind you. That movie was about who? Pac and Suge and everybody else. I was playing at the time Big B, which was Suge's bodyguard. That wasn't a main role. That wasn't that was what you saw me in the movie. I had a couple lines here and there, but it wasn't about me.
Right.
And saying that is that little did I know that Benny at the time was watching everything. not just, but he's watched everybody. Even the coaching, the head coach at the time, which was Angela Gibbs, one of my mentors, Queen Mother of the Universe. I got to recognize her. She was coaching Demetrius for the role of Pac. Mm-hmm.
Is that Marla Gibbs' daughter?
Yes, it is.
Boom.
Yep.
Come on, royalty. Yep. Okay, let's go.
Who are you surrounded by? And she was, and she made mention of. She said, Benny was people like Benny are directors. You never know who's watching it and for what. And so fast forward to, like I said, I get that Benny reaches out to me, and it happens to be for the same show. And now I know it's Tales. But when I go when I go into audition, casting is like, production is really pulling for you for this role. I said I'm grateful, and that's it. And that role of King Lou. With Christian Robinson and everybody that was in there. I mean, it was a great opportunity, but that happened because I even the role that I played for All Eyez on Me, I stood in my truth. I just did my job and did what I needed to do, but you never know who's watching.
Yes.
Just, you show up. The
work ethic. It's the work ethic.
That's that's it. Show up and do your work. Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about God had 2 guardian angels, like bringing you in from both sides. You was going to be in Tails regardless. Because listen, but I love hearing that, because again, it just reaffirms, putting in the work, no matter, listen, if you play a raindrop in the background, you better wet that ground.
You wet the ground.
When you come down, you better hit that umbrella and wet that ground.
The biggest, wettest, drippingest raindrop.
You better make all the other precipitation jealous.
Okay.
Come in and put in the work. So that is such a great testimony, because like you said, you're like, this film is about Tupac and Suge. I was just, I had a role of a bodyguard, but still, people know talent when they see it, and just like you said previously in our conversation, like, when the opportunity comes, you have to be ready. You can want these opportunities, but you have to be prepared. You have to be ready for the task at hand.
And that's what I tell people all the time. That's what I tell people when they come to me, and I often get inbox DMs or just in person. They're like, hey, I want to go after this. I never shatter anybody's dreams of go after what you feel is your dream. I always say, do it with passion or don't do it at all. And if you're going to do it, then go into it and give it what you need. Because if I didn't prepare, if Benny had hit me at that point in time before bringing me to Irv and anybody else, what did I needed to at least have the fundamentals. The first thing he said was, send me your headshot, send me your reel. If I had not been preparing and working on those things, it didn't have to be top notch. It didn't have to have big names on it. And I say this all the time, even when I'm coaching. I like just have something for somebody to look at, to be able to say, I see that you're working. That you're in classes.
Absolutely.
You have the proper headshots. You've got to invest in that. That's the just a little 101 thing there. But if I didn't have those things, then he couldn't have put my name in the hat. He couldn't have.
Right.
Or I wouldn't have been able to succeed.
Now, you just mentioned coaching. So you offer acting coaching as well?
From time to time. I don't do it
on a regular basis.
Yeah, it's a thing that happens when I can do it. I have peers that will, and really sometimes we're coaching each other, we're helping each other with auditions.
Gotcha.
But I have also coached on a movie that's going to be coming out. Hopefully, I think it's this year. Where I was in South Dakota for like a couple of months working with
South Dakota.
Lakota tribe over there. Yes, my Lakota tribe, and I was over there coaching first-time actors. These kids that did an amazing job. So
that's cool.
So from time to time, depending on on schedule, I will do that and work.
I was just making sure it wasn't. I was just making sure it wasn't a class somewhere I could have signed up for, because I will tell people quick. Now look, my acting resume is a little short. I was Chicken Little in first grade and The Sky Is Falling, and I moved the crowd.
Come on.
I brought the people to tears when that acorn hit the top of my head. Listen, it was not a game.
I would love to see that. I would love to have been in the crowd to watch that.
A game. It was not a game, Sean. Listen.
I believe your spirit is very live, so I believe it. Yeah. I believe it 100%.
I'm praying the Lord to bring that footage back to me, because it was from first grade. I'm just praying somebody somewhere got the tape. You know what I'm saying? Like, run the tape. I'm just praying somebody got the tape. But let's get back to Swagger, because I'm so super excited for you about Swagger. I was very, very excited about this project when I heard about it. And it's funny because, like I said before, you're the talent in the front, right? I write about the talent. So I received a press release from Apple TV, and it was about Swagger. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm reading about it. And full disclosure, anytime a film or something comes out, I get excited when I see a brown face. Point blank, period. It's just, it's what I connect to. It's what moves my spirit and my ancestors. So as soon as I saw the young man holding the basketball, I said, what time? What's going? What are we doing? Where are we going? And so I started reading about it. And, I logged into the press room of, Apple, and I started reading about it. And then I saw that Reggie was connected to it. And then I'm like, oh, okay. And then, for those of you who don't know, the film is now, to my understanding, is it loosely based on the younger years of Kevin Durant, or did he add input? Because I know Kevin Durant is tied to the project, but I couldn't fully understand if it was like a loose autobiography or if it was just like kind of inspired by some things that he may have experienced in his younger years.
That's it. It was inspired.
I got it.
So the young man, Isaiah Hill, my guy. So he's not playing Kevin Durant. He's not playing a young Kevin Durant. It is loosely based off of the experiences that Kevin Durant had coming up in the youth basketball league. It's not for other reasons we don't say AAU, but for those that are in that world, you know what it is. And so it's based off of the experiences that Kevin Durant had, and then that's all. But it's coupled with, telling the story, telling stories of things that telling the story of things that's happened that the youth face and that parents face and that the adults face going through this world. So, of course, Kevin had an idea. Himself and Rich Kleiman got together with Reggie. And Reggie, who's a great director, storyteller. Salute to my brother Reg. I
still miss Shots Fired. I still miss that show. I still miss it.
I mean, listen, and such. I mean, the thing about what I love, not to get off topic, but what I love about Reggie Ballard and his and his partner, his queen, Gina Prince, is that they're just such great creators, and they're such they're such forward thinkers. So it's like I love that even being a part of that extended family, so to speak, like with them, like it's such a blessing, because to be around people that they constantly keep us in the forefront. They constantly keep us, our people, our culture in the forefront. Like, we've got to tell this. There are stories that need to be told, and it's not just one way. So but not to go too deep into
love them. Much love to them. Much love to them. Love them.
Loosely based off of the experiences of Kevin Durant.
Right. So tell us about your role as Naim.
Yes. So I play assistant coach Naim. I am an assistant coach for Team Swagger. Along with O'Shea Jackson Jr. And also Tess Ferrer. And I'm a father, husband. You get to see more of the father side, but that I display in the show alongside Khalil Harris, who plays my son, who plays Musa. And he is, of course, a lot of people know him from When They See Us, When They See Us, and he's a phenomenal actor, phenomenal being, just person altogether. So we have a great chemistry on set and off set, and it's just a joy working with him. So Coach Naim is just he's kind of like he's the secret silent backbone to pushing everybody forward and keeping everybody in line. He's also a soundboard for for O'Shea's character Ike, and helping to make decisions for not just the kids as a team, but just personally, because Ike O'Shea's character, I cares very much about these kids. Like, it's not just about making, and as we see a lot in the world, unfortunately, in youth basketball, it's not just about, getting them to the NBA and who's going to be the best player, and get the money, and get the perks, but caring about the actual lives and their futures and what that looks like. So a lot of that, you'll see a lot of that is what Swagger is about. Like, basketball actually is the backdrop. Like, you see a lot of good basketball, real basketball, real players. But it's more to that. It's about us as human beings going through the maze of life, and how do we get through these mazes? How do we get through these obstacles and these twists and turns in life that seemingly wants to lead us one way, or off the grid, but we have to find a way to stay focused. And so what does that look like? And how do you handle those adversities? How do you handle being in the maze of life? Do you fold, do you crumble, or do you handle with swagger? And do you I'll stop and, brush your shoulders off and get back up and So very inspirational, very, very blessed to be a part of a show that pushes that ideology.
Absolutely. And just for those of you who may not be aware, Swagger is currently streaming on Apple TV Plus right now. So go check it out. Dope show. Sean, I am so excited. Like, this is so long overdue. I'm like, okay, so what are we going to talk about now? What are we going to do in the summer? But also I know, like, okay, so what do you have planned for Thanksgiving? No, but again, I have been a huge fan of yours from the day we met. There is just something special about you, as you're a incredibly talented person. And ironically, I met you while you were performing in a play.
Right.
So I met you doing your craft, right? And how about that?
Right.
But there was something special about you then, and it's just as special today. For me, it's a pleasure, because all the time I don't know when you have a role in something, and I try to keep up with you the best I can. I do. But I live personally between you and I and everyone listening and watching. I live for those moments when I'm watching TV and I'm like, oh, she's Sean, Jay. I get so hype. It's just the best feeling, because it's like, watching one of your own make it, and I remember, just seeing the progress from when I met you to where you are now. You're a superstar to me. And, just seeing you do all these wonderful things, and you hitting the red carpets, and you G'd up, and you looking all fly. And then every time I post pictures of you, people start DMing me like, friend. That's when I become everyone's friend. Friend, who that? I'm like, Sean Baker. He's an actor. You feel free to follow his page and become a part of his tribe. And they comment, ooh, girl. Okay, all right. That's y'all can go ahead and handle that with Sean directly. But it's just awesome and amazing. And even with Swagger, you hit me up like, sis, I'm in Swagger. I'm like, yes, let's go, Sean. So, it's just been a pleasure just to watch you continue to climb and grow and expand, and just, as they say, God is expanding your territory. You're doing all of these fantastic things. And I want to talk about something that you're working on as well. Can we talk about the project that you are currently working on?
Well, we can just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
We're still working the kinks out. So
okay.
Just kind of speaking to earlier when you mentioned, getting roles and getting out there and the challenges. I think the other part of that is there's a saying that I have. It's called "Don't wait, create." Right? It's "Don't wait, create." It's funny because my friend Ernestine, she has it. Ernestine Johnson. She has the things where she says, Morris, where she says, "Don't." Her phrase is "Create, don't wait." But mine is, "Don't wait, create."
Yes.
But again, same feeling, same vibe, where listen, we may not always see the roles or the projects that we may want to be a part of. We may not get the audition or it may not come across our table. But if there's something that you want to see yourself in or do, create it. Again, go to your people around you. Issa Rae said it best. Work across. Work with your peers and create something great. So that's what I'm doing. I've been working with this. It's a mini action series that not sure we're gonna put it out with platform just yet, but we're still in the midst of creating.
Okay.
But it gets to kind of show my, the other skills that I have in terms of physicalities and martial arts and fighting and action. Like I love that's a whole other part of
because you get down with the action. I was like, let me find out what in the wax on, wax off is going on here. I almost forgot about your martial arts until you mentioned it earlier, that you were in martial arts, because I love how you share and I'm not sure exactly the best. So I call them clips. That's what I'm used to. Yeah. So, clips of you in an action sequence or doing some martial arts or doing a fight sequence. And I'm like, God, dog, this dude can literally do everything. It's so cool. It's so cool.
I love it. It's another passion of mine. I love when I got a chance to, I didn't really do any fighting, but when I did when I did Shaft, it was just a little action because I do stunts as well, but here and there. I'm more, definitely more into the acting world. But when I get a chance to, be active, I'll do it, especially if it makes sense. And I was able to do Shaft with Samuel L. Jackson, and get shot up and pulled out the car with him.
Yeah.
That was a pleasure. But I love, but I want to do more. I want to do more of the, and I will do more. Speaking it of the, the John Wick type movies, the Blade and the Matrix type films, and there's things to be said about that. So I know there's a world still that I've yet to tap into, but in the meantime, until those other opportunities come across, what I'll do is I'll attract it by creating my own. And so I'll see myself and where I want to see myself go. So I'll create that world. I'll create that character. And so yes, I'm working with Bass Brothers Productions. I've worked with them over the years. That's Jeff Bazille and Maria Bazille, and I've worked with them in theater. I've done plays with them as well as in movies. I had my first lead role with them doing a movie called Making Moves, and I'll never forget that because they gave me my first shot at a lead role, and I've been rocking with them ever since. Those are people that are consistent and they believe in creating, and so we're working on something where. It has to do with a little bit military, but also dealing with the world of what people deal with their psyche and their mental, and what happens what happens when we are trying to push through in a society where they don't talk about the things that happen to military and military vets, and what does that look like when your life is kind of been altered by what you've normally been able to do. And then what pushes you to take on the trials and tribulations and traumas of the world, if you're also hoping to save the world. So that kind of a thing, So yes, I'm actively working on that and some other projects where can't talk about it just yet because they're not completely mine, but I'm working with other artists. And that's the thing. We're always creating. We're always, if you're an actor. Going back to another question, and I know because you ask such great questions. If you're an actor, you're always working.
Always.
You're always working. So that doesn't mean solely that only when you book the job or you book the big gig or big studio gig. Work on your craft. Create.
Absolutely.
Your peers to create something. So if you're an actor, you're always writing, always studying, always creating, and that's just the world that we're in. So that's also what I'm doing. That project with Bass Brothers, and then like some other little tidbits that may come up that, like I said, I can't really talk about it just yet. But when it's time, who I'm gonna holler at.
Oh, you know who to holler at. Ring, ring. Yeah, you better call my Palm Pilot.
Not the Palm Pilot. Not the Palm Pilot.
You better call my Palm Pilot.
When I will hit you up.
Absolutely.
Things are always moving. And again, you ask me what you got next, I'll say, whatever God got planned.
Absolutely. How can the ICC friends connect with you? I mean, for those who are just joining your tribe today, how can they connect with you? How can they follow you? How can they continue to support you?
Yes. So would love for my fellow ICC fans and friends, supporters. Fans sound so crazy to me sometimes, but supporters and tribe. But follow me on IG is Sean Baker Online. That's SEAN. Baker, Baker online. On Twitter, it's the Sean Baker. On Facebook, it's Sean Baker.
I'll throw all the links in. I just wanted you to say it out loud, but I'll throw all the links in.
But that's where you'll find me. I'm on and off. I take time from social media too. That's another way to reset. Sometimes you got to step away and then come back to it. You've done that. I've done it. And it's good that I'm glad that you tell your listeners and followers to do that too. But that's where you can find me. I'm around. I'm out here.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're out here.
I'm out here.
Out here. So Sean, again, a million times over, I am so super proud of you. The world is yours. It's just out here for the taking for you. And I'm just so proud of you. And I will continue to support you any way possible. And I just pray that God continues to bless you and expand your territory, which he has already proven and shown that he is there doing that for you. So,
thank you.
We love you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you and all your support. I've supported you from day one and I continue to support you. I love the work that you do. Keep being that light in the community. Keep being our voice in the community. Keep our melanin in the community. Like everything. Our cultures is very important. We got to stand up for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So thank you for being that.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure speaking to you today. And be sure to come back soon and let us know about all the upcoming projects you got going on.
Yes.
Promise?
Absolutely. Pinky
promise?
That's my word. Listen, I'm good. I'll give you my word right from here.
Right here.
Right
the pinky promise and all that right here.
Right here.
All right.
My word is my bond.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Sean. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, sis. Peace.
All right.
Ice Cream Conversation. Ice Cream Conversation.